Okay, sir.
So as per Atal norms, I would just like to inform all the participants again that as per the Atal norms, we have two sessions, especially on personality development, stress management, and other different aspects related to yoga as well, right? So in this slide, we'll have the honor of the presence of Shri Raviraj Singh ji with us. And Padmja, please start the session.
Yes, sir. Sure. Very good afternoon to one and all present here. I welcome everyone to day 4 and session 10 of the Atal FDP course on rhizospheric engineering. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Shri Raviraj Singh ji, and he is a teacher, thinker, orator, philosopher, lawyer, and writer. He has been teaching English to students for many years and has practiced law at Allahabad High Court for 15 years. He has also taught philosophy to civil services aspirants. But chiefly, he is a motivational speaker having profound knowledge of Vedanta. He is on the panel of speakers for SpeakMackey, an international organization. Apart from that, he has spoken in more than 100 cities and towns across India. Since young age, he has been practicing meditation and yoga. Some of the places where he has spoken are SpeakMackey National Youth Conventions at Lucknow, Raipur, and Kurukshetra, Academy of Administration and Management, Bhopal, G.B. Pant Institute of Social Sciences, Harish Chand Research Institute, IIT Kanpur, IIT Madras, MNNIT Allahabad, Tata Agriculture Research Institute, Aligarh. Apart from that, Madras University, University of Allahabad, Rotary clubs, and centers of Ramakrishna Mission, etc. So I request Shri Raviraj Singh Sarji to please start the session. It's over to you, sir.
Okay. Respected Director of the Institute and respected Dr. Sivesh Sharma ji, Dr. Ramesh Pandey ji, and dear participants. My topic is stress management in present times through yoga practices. What is the reason of stress in our life? First of all, we have to understand the basic things about our human life. When we go to purchase a particular machine, so we are given a manual which guides us how to handle that machine, how to operate that machine. And if we follow the instructions of that particular manual and operate that machine accordingly, then we feel no difficulty in the operation or handling of that machine. But if we do not follow the instructions or guidelines given in the manual and we operate that machine according to our own whims and our wills, so we will find some difficulty and it may be possible that machine may go out of order. Exactly in the same way, we have been given this human life. This human life is very important to achieve anything in this world, but we do not know how to handle and operate this human life properly. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, there are two famous verses in the Bhagavad Gita. Yah shastra vidhim utsrajye vartate kam karta na sa siddhim vapnoti na sukham na paramgati. A person who does not follow the instructions given in the scriptures, but behaves in the life or does actions in the life according to his own desires, he does not get success, he does not get any progress in life, and he does not get happiness in life. So Lord Krishna recommends that you should follow the instructions given in the Shastras. Tasmat Shastram Pramadamte Karya Karya Vyavasthito. He says to Arjuna that in the decision of your doings or non-doings, what you have to do in your life and what you have not to do in your life, for this scriptures are the authority. Scriptures will tell you what are your duties and responsibilities to fulfill in life. And if you do not follow those scriptures, so you will not get success, you will not get peace of mind, you will not get happiness, and you will not progress in life. So now we have to understand what are those scriptures which give proper guidance to our human life. I can recommend one of the best scriptures in our Hindu culture, in our Hindu tradition, that is the Bhagavad Gita. It is the science of life. Our great saints and saviors call it as Ashokopanishad. Ashokopanishad, which kills our shoka, जो हमारे शोक को नष्ट करती है. Arjuna was overpowered by grief. He was not ready to fight the battle of Mahabharata. And it was the teachings of Lord Krishna who brought out Arjuna out of that depression or depressive state, and then Arjuna fought bravely and ultimately he won the war. So the first important thing, we have to understand our life. Life is a different thing. We may be expert or trained in so many sciences and arts, in so many vidyas, in so many shastras and scriptures, but if we do not have the complete knowledge of our life, our physiology, our mind, our awareness, our pranic energy, our consciousness, if all these factors and dimensions of our life are not clear to us, so we will not be able to lead our life peacefully and properly. So stress comes into play, it comes into existence because we do not know how to operate this human machine which has been given to us to fulfill so many things in our life. We can take one example. Suppose there is a lion and there is a cat. Both came face to face. So when lion is facing the cat and cat is facing the lion, so there is a situation of stress for the cat. But lion is not in stress. Lion is totally stress free. Instead, lion is enjoying the situation because he is thinking that I have got a prey, I have got my food. But cat is in the stress because she is afraid of her life. What does it mean? If when the situations or the circumstances are so difficult that we are not able to face them, we are not able to cope up with them, we are not able to surmount them, so then we feel a kind of mental and emotional pressure. So this mental and emotional pressure, this is called stress. So stress can be defined in a very simple language that stress is a feeling of being overwhelmed or unable to cope up with the mental pressure and emotional pressure arising out of the adverse circumstances and situations coming in life. So it means if we are weak, the same situation can be a cause of stress for some person, and the same situation cannot be a cause of stress for another person. Exactly as I have given you the example that cat and lion, they are face to face. So this situation is a stressful situation for the cat, but it is not a stressful situation for the lion because lion is more powerful. He has got strength. Then there is another concept. Stress has got so many varieties. Stress are of many kinds and many types. So I am not going into the psychological details of that particular topic because it will take some more time. I am going to deal with the functional and practical aspects through which you can counter this stress, through which you can reduce your stress, but still I will try to hint you some particular types. One type of stress is called eustress and de-stress. Eustress, the spelling of this eustress is EU, STRESS. EU is a Greek prefix which means good or positive. So eustress is called positive stress or good stress, which is motivating for our success in life. But the distress is the negative stress. It is bad stress. So distress is very harmful and detrimental to us. So far as eustress is concerned, eustress is not detrimental. It is not harmful. When our examinations are quite near, quite at hand, so mostly all the students feel some stress, some pressure there. Examination pressure is there. But this type of stress is very good for us because it inspires us it motivates us to study more and more. I remember when I was a student in Allahabad University, So during examination periods, hardly we utilize our time for any other activity except studies. I remember that out of 24 hours, I was studying 20 or 22 hours. This stamina, this strength of study was latent in us, but examination time was only an instigating factor which brought this strength, this stamina of studying 20 or 22 hours within us. So what I mean to say that this U stress is helpful. We should not take this U stress as a negative stress, but this stress, that is negative stress and that is harmful, that is detrimental. So we have to avoid this negative and bad stress from our life. Very good formula I would like to suggest to you, that stress is equal to pressure upon inner strength. Stress is equal to pressure upon inner strength. Now, pressure, you cannot avoid the pressure. There are different kinds of pressures in our life. Situational pressures are there, pressures related with our family are there, our career are there, our profession are there. So different kinds of pressures are there. You can't destroy the pressures totally. You are to lead your life with pressure, but pressure upon inner strength. But you have liberty to increase your inner strength. If your inner strength becomes infinitive, so stress becomes zero. But if your inner strength is zero, so stress will become infinitive. What does it mean? We have this choice to increase our inner strength. The strength of our will, the strength of our mind, the strength of our intellect, the strength of our spirit, the strength of our body. If we are increasing all these subjective strengths and staminas, so we will be able to cope up with this stress very easily in our life. But if our inner strength is weaker, then we will face this stress, and this stress can do a great harm to us in our life, in our career, in our profession, wherever we are. So this formula should be kept in our mind, that we have to increase our inner strength. I will be coming later on to this particular aspect. Now the second formula I would like to give you, if you want success without stress, so you have to combine your strength with your skill. Success without stress is equal to skill plus strength. You may have strength, but you may not have a skill. Suppose there is a person who has the capacity to go across the river Jamuna. He can go across river Ganga. He has this strength. This stamina is there within his body, but he does not know the skill of swimming. He does not possess the skill of swimming. If he doesn't know the skill of swimming, so he cannot go across the river of Yamuna or Ganga, even if he is a wrestler. He has a great physical strength within his body, a great stamina within his body, but still, since he is lacking in the skill of swimming, he will not be able to go across the river Yamuna or go across the river Yamuna. So along with this strength and stamina, we are required to master the skill which is required for any particular work. So stress, if there is success without stress, if you want this kind of success bereft of stress, then your strength must be combined with your skill. Skill may be connected with your area of work, with your area of profession. This is the second formula which I am giving you. The first formula I have given you is stress is equal to pressure. Pressure means mental pressure or any kind of pressure you can take, for example, and pressure upon inner strength. So you have liberty to increase your inner strength. There are techniques, there are some exercises, you can adopt them for the increment of your inner strength. So U stress and dis-stress, these two varieties are there. Now another classification according to American Psychological Association, there is another classification of stress that is called acute stress, and second is called episodic stress. Episodic yani which comes as a result of some particular episode or event. So the first type of stress is acute stress, second is episodic acute stress, and the third one is chronic stress. So acute stress, they are very normal, they come and go in life. Everybody is feeling them in day-to-day life. So far as episodic stress is concerned, it comes when some particular event or some particular situation takes place in your life and which is some cumbersome, which is some burdensome. Suppose there is a marriage in your house, marriage of your sister, marriage of your brother. So everybody, every family member feels stress, burden. So during such periods, whatever stress we feel, that stress can be said as episodic stress. So it comes when some particular occasion arises. It is not a routine stress. And another kind of stress is called chronic stress. Chronic stress is when any kind of stress is becoming permanent. It is continuously lingering in your mind. Then it becomes chronic stress. Chronic stress gives rise to many ailments and diseases in the body and mind. All the psychosomatic illnesses, they are the result of this chronic stress. So we have to avoid this chronic stress. There are certain processes and techniques through which you can avoid this. So another classification or another type of stress is this. This is called chronic. Third one, episodic, second one, and first is the acute stress. So now the question comes, how can we counter this stress in our life? Stress can be countered by so many ways. Stress management means you have to manage so many things in your life because there are so many causes, so many reasons because of which stress comes into play, comes into existence, comes into our life. There cannot be one or two reasons of this stress. Every person is having different causes of stress. So there may be innumerable causes of stress. Some may be common. Some may be common causes, but others are not common. Each and every person may have his own problems. One person is having no money, so his stress is because of poverty. One person is having no physical strength, his stress is because of his physical weakness. Somebody is not getting success in career, he is getting academic failures in life, so the cause of stress is failure in academic or career. So there may be different causes of stresses. Each and every individual is required to discriminate, to identify his own subjective reasons and causes of his stress in his life. Cause of my stress is not necessarily to become the cause of your stress. There may be different reasons. So we have to identify what is the reason, what is the particular cause of my own subjective stress. And you have to adopt techniques and methods to reduce that particular your subjective stress accordingly. So there are different causes of stress. So stress has got so many impacts, so many effects on our life. Our body is affected, our mind is affected, our life is affected, our family is affected by these elements of stress. So we have to take one by one. So I can say that there are 5 or 6 dimensions where we have to consider this particular stress. The first dimension is external environment or the external factors. There are so many external factors which may cause stress in our life. Suppose you are working in a corporate world, corporate office. So there are so many kinds of people working with you. Suppose the nature of your boss is not good, so that may be the cause of stress for you. The behavior of your boss is not up to the mark. It may be the cause of stress for you. Unreasonable timelines and deadlines are given to you for a particular job. It may be the cause of stress. You are not supplied with proper instruments and proper means. It may be the cause of stress. So there may be so many factors. Weather may be the cause of stress. Other external factors, your working conditions, the conditions in which you are working in the office, these working conditions, they may be the cause of stress. You are going to office, you have to face a lot of traffic on the way. This traffic problem may be the cause of stress. So there are so many external factors. So you have to counter these external factors by adopting certain attitudes in your life. So first thing is that there is a serenity prayer. Once I was reading a book, in that book this serenity prayer was given there. Serenity prayer is that a person prays to God, "Oh Lord, give me courage to change what can be changed. Give me patience to accept what cannot be changed, and give me wisdom to differentiate between the two. What I can change and why I can't change. So give me courage to change what can be changed." So if you can make any changes in the external situation, external factor, so you should try to make on your part. But suppose you can't make any change in that situation, so the simple technique is accept it with equanimity of your mind, because it is not in your hand. You have to tackle your thoughts, you have to tackle your emotions. If you do not know the technique of tackling and handling your thoughts and emotions, so it will be very difficult for you to reduce this stress coming from the external factors and external situations. So the first thing is that change what you can change, accept what you cannot change, and you must have wisdom and discretion to differentiate between the two. Second thing, emotion and thought, they are the most important aspect of your personality and your life. If you can know the technique of handling your emotions and handling your thoughts, then you will be able to cope up with your stress and mental pressure. So you have to know how they are constituted. So thought is equal to, you should remember this particular equation, thought is equal to an idea plus emotion or plus vital force. Vital force means prana shakti. So an idea is what? An idea is when an object of sense object, when a sense object is reflected on your consciousness, then it creates an idea that is called pratyay in technically, in philosophical language. So this idea is a pratyay which comes into existence, which comes into being as a result of reflection of the sense object on the consciousness or through the consciousness. When this idea is supported by your emotion and that emotion is supported by your vital force, then all these three ingredients taken together, they constitute thought. So to handle your thought, you have to either handle your idea, or you have to handle your vital force, your pranic energy, or you have to handle your emotion. So normally this mind is not within our control, because the great warrior Arjuna, he complains before Lord Krishna that it is next to impossible to control this mind. I can control the air, मैं वायु को तो कंट्रोल कर सकता हूं, but I can't control this human mind.
पद्मजा, आवाज आ रही है?
Sir, no, sir. Sir, voice is not audible. I think सर हैंग हो गया उनका लैपटॉप.
So controlling this mind is no doubt very difficult, but we can control it by continuous practice and by discrimination, by detachment. This is a technique which Lord Krishna recommends in the Bhagavad Gita to a great warrior Arjuna. So now you have to take the hold of your pranic energy. Your prana and your mind, they are connected with each other. You cannot have control over your mind, but you can control your pranic energy, your prana tattva, by doing pranayam techniques. If you take deep breath, slow breath, long breath, so you will notice and you will realize, you will experience that your mind is cooling down. You are feeling a kind of calmness in your mind, peace in your mind, if you do this practice of pranayam. So in this particular equation, thought is equal to idea plus emotion plus pranic energy or vital force. You can take hold of this pranic energy. And by doing regular and deep pranayam or breathing exercises, you can control your thought.
They're not
You
audible.
are the techniques of controlling your thoughts and your emotions. One another thing I would like to suggest you here, that you should learn, you should have the ability to objectify your thoughts. Never identify with your thoughts. If you are identifying with your thoughts, so it will create problems. You will not be able to handle those thoughts. You must feel yourself as an independent, unattached seer or witness of your mind or your thoughts. This technique will keep you quite detached, quite at distance from your thoughts. So you will be able to handle your thoughts properly. So by handling your thoughts, by exercising your intelligence, by exercising your wisdom, by exercising your discriminative power, power of discrimination, you can easily handle your thoughts. Which thoughts are helping, which thoughts are not going to help us, which thoughts are negative and destructive in our life, which are positive and constructive in our life. You have to entertain those particular thoughts which are going to help you in your life. Now the second thing which I would like to recommend, that is Drishta Drishya Vivek. Discrimination between the seer and the seen. It is a great technique to feel that you are pure awareness, you are pure consciousness. Your body, your mind, your intellect, your memory, your ego, your pranic energy, your organs of perception, organs of action, your brain, all these things, they are different from you. So you are required to understand these 4 or 5 particular fundamental principles about this particular Drishta Drishya Vivek, the discrimination between the seer and the seen. First one is Drashta, or the seer is one, the seen may be many. Drashta एक होता है, दृश्य बहुत हो सकते हैं. Seer is one and the seen, that they may be many. Second point, you have to remember that seer will remain there even if seen is not there. दृश्य अगर है तो भी दृष्टा रहेगा, और दृश्य अगर नहीं है तो भी दृष्टा रहेगा. If seen is there, even then seer will be there. If seen is not there, even then seer will be there. So the second point is that drashta is first point is there, drashta is one, seer is one, and the seen may be many. Seen is the objects of knowledge. The third point, drashta is chetan, conscious, and the seen is the jad. Because object of knowledge, knower and the known. So known is the seen, knower is the seer. So known is the object of knowledge. And the object of knowledge is always different from the knower. So the seen is always different from the seer. So if you are seeing your mind, you are seeing your body, you are seeing your intellect, you feel that my body is weak, my body is strong. So my body is ill, my body is healthy. So body is what? Body is seen. You are not body. So body is just like a belonging. Body belongs to you. You are not the body. So drashya chetan, drashta chetan hai, drashya jad hai. दृष्टा एक है, दृश्य अनेक है। दृश्य के बिना भी दृष्टा हो सकता है और दृश्य के साथ भी दृष्टा हो सकता है। दृष्टा की उपस्थिति के लिए दृश्य का होना अनिवार्य नहीं है। दिस इज नॉट ए कंपल्सरी कंडीशन फॉर द सीयर टू एग्जिस्ट, दैट सीन मस्ट बी देयर। सो बॉडी इज दृश्य, माइंड इज दृश्य, intellect is drashya, your memory chit is drashya, your ego is drashya, your vital force is drashya. So all these are ingredients which come within the ambit of the seen, within the ambit of the known. So they are different from the knower, and you are the knower. And knower is what? Knower is pure consciousness. It is pure awareness. So when you feel that you have got entirely different entity from this objective world, then it becomes very easy for you to handle the situation, whether they are the external situations or they are the internal situations. Internal situations means your thoughts, your emotions, your ideas, your memories, your imaginations, all your desires, your whims, all these are the inner situations. So when you feel that you are different, you are the seer of all these things, you have nothing to do with them, then you are able to control them very easily. But when you identify yourself with your body, so you say that I am body. When you identify yourself with your mind, you feel that I am mind. When you feel identified with your intellect, you feel that I am intellect. When you feel identified with your ego, you feel that you are ego. So this identification with this objective world, this is the root cause of all the sufferings. So we have to know this awareness properly. Another example which I can give you, you feel that you are not all these things, and because of absence of these things, still you are there. If you take the example of deep sleep, when you are sleeping without having any dream, dreamless sleep state is there. So when you are in deep sleep without having any dream, so you feel your mind is not there, your intellect is not there, you have no ego consciousness, you have no identity consciousness, your organs of perception and other organs of action, they are not working. You are totally oblivious of all these factors, whether it is your body, whether it is your inner equipment consisting of your mind, your intellect, your memory chip, or your ego. Even you are not conscious of your any physical or human organs of this body, whether it is heart, it is kidney, it is lungs, they are functioning automatically, but you are not aware of all these things. Still you feel that you are there. When you are awakened, when somebody knocks at the door, when everybody was, when nothing was there within you working, whether it is your mind, whether it is your intellect, whether it is your ego, whether it is your chit, memory faculty, then who heard this voice of knocking at the door? Somebody knocked at the door to awaken you, to make you get up. So who heard this particular voice? It is your pure consciousness, which does not require any medium in between to respond. So this pure consciousness, and you say that I slept very well, I was very happy in the sleep, I enjoyed the sleep. So who was the enjoyer, and what was the source and genesis of this enjoyment or pleasure or happiness during this sleep? So the source of enjoyment, the source of happiness, and the enjoyer, they were the both. Your Atma, your pure consciousness was the source and genesis of enjoyment, and it was the enjoyer also. So this is your real identity. All the identities which you are assuming in this practical world, in this practical life, in different situations of your life, they are your false identities. They are created by you with respect to different situations. Suppose you are the student of this institute, MNNIT. So today your identity is the student of this institution. So all the rules and regulations will apply to you till you are within the campus of this institution. But once you have completed your education from here and you went out of the institution, you became engineer somewhere or anything you got outside, then the rules and regulations prevailing in the institution will not be applicable on you, because you are out of this campus. Now your identity is not the identity of a student. Now your identity is the identity of an engineer somewhere in corporate company or in some multinational company. So these identities, they come and go. You are mother, suppose you are daughter of somebody. So your identity of daughter is with respect to your father and mother. You are brother of some sister, so your identity of brother is with respect to some girl as a sister, some other person as a brother. You are professor in the institution, so your identity of professorship is with respect to the students whom you are teaching. So all these identities, they are the identities assumed by you with respect to different situations in our practical life. So what I mean to say, the real identity is your awareness. That is why Shankaracharya has given a Nirvana Shatkam, a very Buddhist stotra composed by Shankaracharya. Nirvana Shatkam, Manobuddha Hankara Chittani Naham. I am not this mind, not this body, not this intellect. He says finally in the 6th verse that Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo vibhur vyapta sarvatra sarvendriyanam sada me samattam name jati bheda chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. He says that I am not the body, nor the mind, nor the senses, nor the food, nor the enjoyer of the food, nor guru, nor shishya. Whatever you can consider, Shankaracharya negate that I am not that. So what are you? He says that Chidananda Rupa Siyoham Siyoham. I am pure awareness, unalloyed bliss, pure existence. This is my real identity. And whatever other things we are considering, they are only superimpositions upon our this real pure consciousness and awareness. So this feeling of awareness, if you have, so you will stand quite apart, quite distant from your emotions, from your thoughts, from your situations, and you will be easily able to cope up with all these things. So this is another factor which I want to recommend you to control and to reduce your stress. So the first thing I recommended that there are 6 dimensions you have to consider for the reduction of this stress. The first dimension is the external factor, external environment. If there are so many regions and causes which are coming from the external world and they are creating stress and tension, strain within you, so you have to apply your intelligence, your power of discretion, your equanimity of mind, your endurance, your tolerance, your intelligent way of communication. All these things will help you in countering the external stress coming from the external environment and external factor. Now the second part is connected with your lifestyle. If your lifestyle is not proper, if it is wrong, then it will create so many causes, so many situations which will be cause for your stress. Your food habits are not proper. If you are consuming wrong food, improper food, you are not taking balanced diet, so it will create problems. So that is why Bhagwan Krishna, Lord Krishna recommends sattvic, rajasic and tamasic, 3 varieties of foods in the Bhagavad Gita. You can read it. In the Bhagavad Gita, he recommends the sattvic type of food. Because if you are a sattvic person and you are consuming a sattvic type of food, so your reactions, your responses to the situation will be always positive and proactive. A person of sattvic temperament, he is always proactive, never reactive, never inactive, and his proactiveness is always positive and constructive. He is not going to create the problems in the society and in his life. He is instead going to find the solutions of the problems in his life and in his society. But a person of Rajasic temperament, he is not proactive, he is always reactive. This is the impact and effect of your food. जैसा खावे अन्न वैसा होवे मन, as is your food, so will be your mind. जैसा पीवे पानी वैसी होवे वाणी, as your water, your speech will be like that. So you have to be very careful about your food. You should try to adopt healthy food, sattvic food, pure food, nutritious food, and balanced diet. So one major factor of your lifestyle is your food habits. Second thing, and the third person who is tamasic, who is consuming tamasic food, he will remain inactive in all the situations. So the sattvic person will be proactive, but positive proactiveness will be there. Rajasic person will be reactive, and tamasic person will be inactive because he consumes such kind of food which keeps him inactive. Nidra, pramad, or alas. Indolence, laziness, and procrastination, sleep, ignorance, they are the symptoms of tamasic nature. You will be overpowered. You will be in the grip of all these things if you are consuming tamasic food. So you have to be very careful. If you are consuming proper food, it will reduce the level of stress, the intensity of stress in your life. The second thing, your lifestyle should be well organized and well regulated. You must have a proper and balanced and healthy daily routine. Some of these students, they study late in the night. They study up to 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. and then they sleep and they get up at 11 a.m. sometimes 12 a.m. So you will be late for your classes also. You are ruining your body also because there is a proper systematic natural cycles. They are working through your body. When you have to sleep, when you have to wake up, all these things are recommended in our scriptures. If you go through our Ayurveda, there are some books of Ayurveda. They recommend that each and every person should sleep within 10 p.m. and you should get up at 4 a.m. in the morning. Because this particular duration between 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., this is very good for the digestion of our food and all other cycles which are operating within our body system. So if you are violating these natural cycles and we are adopting this wrong routine in our life, so it will create tension. It will create so many ailments and diseases in your body and your life will become out of balance, out of order. So daily routine should be proper and good. Your food habits must be good and proper. And the third one is this, you should try to adopt your exercises daily. Exercise daily. If you do not do regular exercises, so it will also make your body weak, your immune system will become weak, and because of your weak immune system, so many ailments and diseases will attack you. So you have to take regular exercises. So your food habits, your daily routine, your regular exercises, and then work and life balance. You must have balance between your work and your life. If there is no harmonious blending, harmonious balance between your work and life, it will also create some problem for you. So all these factors must be considered in your life. They should be adopted, they should be assimilated. You should live up to them. This is the second factor. Now the third factor is connected with the lifestyle, that is your physical fitness. If your lifestyle, the first one I told you, external environment factors. Second, I am telling you lifestyle correction. If you are correcting your lifestyle, so physically you will be fit. So your physical fitness is connected with your lifestyle. So stress management through yoga practices here to make you physically fit, our yoga comes into play. Hatha yoga is there, karma yoga is there, raj yoga is there, jnana yoga is there, patanjali yoga is there, kriya yoga is there, kundalini yoga is there. All these yogic methods are there. If you learn them through a particular expert, a particular guru of those particular yogas, and you practice these methods in your personal life, you will be free from all these problems which we are facing today. So Hatha yoga is most important. Hatha yoga involves your asana, yogasanas, pranayam, mudras, different kinds of gestures, or bandh, three kinds of bonds: mool bandh, udyan bandh, or jalandhar bandh. They are technically called in yogic philosophy. Then Shat Karma are there. Are the cleanliness, are the cleansing of your inner bodily limbs. There are 6 kinds of Kriyas. And then Tratak is there. So all these methods are there. But you have to adopt Yogasanas and Pranayama. If you take these 2 techniques from Hatha Yoga and meditation from the Raj Yoga, from the Patanjali Yoga, combination of these Yogasanas, Surya Namaskar, Pranayam and your meditation, if you are combining these 4 techniques and one more technique, your relaxation exercises, then it will be very good for your health. Your physical fitness, your mental fitness, your lifestyle, everything will be regularized and will become up to the mark. So this is the third factor, physical fitness. Fourth factor is your mental strength. The very first formula which I have given you, that is stress is equal to pressure upon inner strength. So here inner strength means your inner strength include those 2 things. One is the mental strength and second is the spiritual strength. Your willpower and your power of your Atma, power of your spirit. In Hindi we can call it Manobal or Atmabal. They should be combined together. Because the real bal, the real force, the real strength that comes out of Atman. Atmana Vindate Viryam. Our Kenopanishad declares Atmana Vindate Viryam. This strength comes out of our spirit, this awareness. So if this Atmabal and Manobal, if these 2 things are there within you and you are trying every method to increase this strength of your body, strength of your mind, strength of your spirit, then it will come very easy for you to handle the stresses and pressures coming from external as well as internal world. So this is called mental strength. This is the 4th step. Now the 5th step is there. 5th step is their intellectual dimension, intellectual stress, intellectual strength. Intellectual strength, it will include so many things. Intellectually, if you want to become powerful, the first thing you require is your clarity. Intellectual clarity is there. That is required. For your intellectual clarity, you have to study good books which strengthen your reasoning capacity, your logical power, which is strengthen your power of discrimination, your determinative faculty, your decision making faculty. So when all these factors they are included in your intellect, then it is called intellectual strength. If your intellect is powerful enough to discriminate between right and wrong, good and bad, positive and negative, then we can say that your strength, your intellect is powerful intellect. It is effective. It is of some use to you. So there should be clarity within your intellect and there should be strength and power within your intellect so that it could function properly. This is intellect is the determinative faculty. I would like to explain here 4 particular things about our this inner equipment. Inner equipment means it includes 4 things. That is mind, that is intellect, that is your ego, and that is your chit. So in our Vedantic philosophy, there has been discrimination about there had been description about these things. Your mind is your sankalp vikalp karne wali vritti. Sankalp vikalp yani cogitative faculty is called mind, which is thinking continuously, considering all pros and cons, all sides and dimensions of anything. If this is there, then it is called mind. When it takes some decision, when it determines something, decides something, so this determinative faculty, this deciding faculty, that is called your intellect. Now comes the chit, when it remembers anything. So your memory is connected with your chit. So this is the center of all your samskaras, all your memories, that is called chit. So chit is the repository of all the memories, all the samskaras and all the desires within you. And the last one is comes the ego, that is sense of I-ness, sense of I and my. This is called identity sense. So this ego is the faculty which gives you identity in different situations. So this sense of I and my, this is called ego. So these are the four things. This is the same particular instrument functioning in four ways. And when it functions as a mind, it is called as a mind, it is called mind. When it decides something, it is called intellect. When it expresses its identity with reference to particular thing, then it is called ego. When it memorizes anything, then it is called chit. When it is oscillating between what to do and what not to do, sankalp and vikalp is there, then it is called mind. But it is the same thing. As you are one person, but when you are functioning like a son before your mother or father, so you are son. When you are studying in your institution before the professor in the classroom, you are called a student. When you are walking in the road, so you are a pedestrian. When you are present at a particular shop to purchase something, you are a customer. So you are one and the only one. But because of the different functionings, you are given the different names. The same is applicable here to this particular mind, which is called inner equipment. For our practical purposes, we call it mind. Mind includes four things. That is man, buddhi, chit, and ahankar. So intellectual clarity should be there. Strength should be there. Your intellect should have the power of reasoning. It must have the power of analysis. It must have the power of correlation and coordination. It must have the power of taking proper decisions. It must have the power of discrimination. If all these powers are there within your intellect, it must have the power to understand something, comprehending capacity. So all these powers, if they are within your intellect, then it is called intellectual strength. So if your intellect is pregnant with all these powers and strengths, then it will be very easy for you to handle this stress, whether it is coming from external sources or it is coming from the internal sources. Now, the last dimension, that is the spiritual dimension. So you must have spiritual depth. If you are spiritually strong, spiritually cultivated and exalted, so you will not feel any kind of stress in your life. And for spiritual development, in the very beginning, I told you that you are pure awareness. You are the seer, you are not the seed. This awareness, this seer, this is your spiritual and real identity. You have to find out this identity. Who am I? This question must be very clearly answered in your life, and you have to realize its experiential and existential answer, not intellectual information, not theoretical information about this. You have read so many scriptures, you have heard so many lectures that you are pure soul, you are pure awareness, you are Satchidananda Brahm, all these things, but you have to realize yourself. You have to experience yourself. Vivekananda says, each soul is potentially divine. The goal of life is to manifest this divinity within by controlling nature, external and internal. Do this either by work or worship or psychic philosophy, psychic control or philosophy, by one or two or all of these, and be free. This is the whole of religion and spirituality. Doctrines, dogmas, rituals, books, sects, they are nothing but secondary details. So you are the divine. But your divinity is potential. It is latent. It is hidden. It is unawakened. So by adopting these different methods, whether you adopt the method of Karma Yoga, or you adopt the method of meditation, or you adopt the method of philosophical inquiry, or you adopt the method of devotion or love, by adopting one or two or all of these methods, harmoniously combining them, blending them together, you have to awaken your divinity within, which is latent, which is potential within you, and you have to become free. So if this kind of spiritual enlightenment, spiritual illumination, if you have attained, if you are trying to attain this and you are proceeding in that direction, so even that will give you a lot of strength, a lot of knowledge, a lot of acumen, and through that you can very easily handle this particular stress, this particular situation. So these 6 dimensions you have to consider. Now I can say your spiritual dimension, your intellectual dimension, your mental dimension, your physical dimension, your lifestyle, and your external dimension, yani environment. So if you are adopting this holistic approach to guard yourself against any kind of stress coming from these various dimensions and sources, then it will be good for you and you will be protected from this. Another very good formula I would like to suggest you. Stress gives us suffering. So normally suffering is equal to pain multiplied by resistance of your mind. Suffering is equal to pain into or multiplied by resistance or reaction of your mind. Now try to understand. Suffering is connected with your mind, mental. Pain is physical, connected with your body. Because when you feel stressed, you feel muscular pain, pain in your shoulder, right? Headache, your digestive system go out of order, weak nervous system, irritation, anger, depression, anxiety, fears, phobias, all these things you feel. So they are connected with your body. Some are connected with your emotion. So this emotional dismantling also tell upon your body. So suffering is connected with your mind and this pain is connected with your body, and this equation is there: suffering is equal to pain multiplied by your resistance or your reaction of mind. So now you have to get control over your reaction and resistance. If you do not resist, if you do not react, if your resistance is zero, so suffering will become zero. If your reaction is not zero, if it is negative, suffering will increase. If your reaction is positive, your resistance is positive, your suffering will decrease. So situations and circumstances are there, and many psychologists, they are working today on this human behavior and human mind. There is a common statement given by so many psychologists that the situations and circumstances, they are 90%, 10% of importance. 90% is your reaction to those situations and circumstances. So your reaction should be positive. Either you react positively or you should show no reaction. If your reaction becomes zero, so suffering is equal to pain multiplied by zero is equal to zero. Your suffering will become zero. So these are some mathematical formulas which I have given during this talk. If you take these particular formulas in your life and you work on them, you try to live up to those formulas, then I think you will be able to cope up with your stress very easily. Apart from them, I would like to suggest you some practical tips. Normally, this stress comes from our relationships also. Because this society, nobody in society is absolutely independent or absolutely dependent. The concept of this social existence is interdependent. We are interdependent. We are not absolutely dependent or we are not absolutely independent. We are interdependent. For some particular thing, you depend on another person, he depends on another person. So mutual dependence, that is the law of our existence. So coexistence is there. Coexistence means mutually we depend upon one another. So coexistence is there. So mutual cooperation is needed. So if we have generosity to cooperate with others in our family, in our society, in our relationships, and if you know to give and forgive, then we will feel less stress. A person who is selfish, who is always thinking to take and take, but he doesn't want to give anything to others, he will be always under stress. Swamiji says that unselfishness is God. Unselfishness is more pain, but people do not have patience to practice this unselfishness in their life. And selfishness and greed, they are the root cause of all the sufferings in the society. A person who is in the grip of selfishness, who is in the grip of desires, who is in the grip of greed, anger, jealousy, he will not be free from stress. He will always feel stress. He will be always within the ambit of stress and strain. When stress crosses a particular level, then it becomes strain. Strain is some severe kind of stress. So for practical, when we are dealing with our relations, whether it is our family or our near and dear ones, our relatives, our friend circle, so we have to become generous there. Always try to give. Always try to forgive. If somebody has done some wrong to you, you should try to forget it. That is why there is a famous statement, forgive and forget. And always try to give. Whatever you give, that will come back to you. If you give respect to others, respect will come back to you. If you will give disrespect to others, disrespect will come back to you. If you give love to others, love will come back to you. This is just like an echo. Your sound is echoed. Whatever you give, that you get. So always try to give the best. So this feeling of renunciation and service, Swamiji says, Vivekananda, if these renunciation and service, these are the twin ideals of our country, of this India. Intensify her in those channels, the rest will take care of it. But service should be selfless service. You should not expect anything in return. That is unselfish service. And renunciation for others. Sacrifice for others. Because when we consider the relationship, so relationship means what? Relationship means your commitment. If there is no element of commitment and devotion, love and respect, trust and belief in relationship, then I can say that it is not relationship at all. So when these things are lacking in our relationships, so naturally today relationships are getting broken. We are having strained relationships. We have been victim to nuclear family today. We are excluding our parents even. This is the indication of our selfish behavior, our narrow-mindedness. So we have to go beyond these attitudes. So if we want to avoid stresses and pressures coming from our relationships, so we have to adopt these particular methods in our relationship. And there is a very good rule of conduct and behavior in our relationship. That is our Mahabharata scripture. Mahabharata says, Atmani pratikulan paresham ma samachare. Whatever you do not like, don't behave with others. You don't like disrespect, so don't disrespect others. You do not like abuses, filthy language, so do not abuse anybody else. You like respect, give respect to others. You like honor and love, give honor and love to others. So this is what our scripture says. This is universal doctrine, universal principle of conduct and behavior in our day-to-day life. So these are the techniques you have to adopt in your life. Another thing, always enjoy company of the holy men. Good company or holy company, positive company. If you are living with people of good nature, people of holy nature, people of greatness and generosity, whose life is teeming and pregnant with so many ethical and moral values, principles, virtues, good qualities, so they will inject those qualities into you. They are contagious. So, holy company. And then you should try to practice regular meditation. regular prayer. Talk to yourself. Introspect within you. Try to see when you are going to sleep. Before you sleep, you should try to introspect within your life that during the 24 hours, what mistakes I have committed, what errors I have committed, and how can I rectify them. So this self-introspection, meditation, self-talk, auto-suggestion, these are the methods which will help you in reducing this stress. And pray to God. Speak out your heart before the God whom you believe. So this prayer is very necessary to relieve you from your tension and your stresses. And the study of the inspiring, motivational, good, positive books written by great men of wisdom and enlightenment. Do not read the books of only intellectual jargons. You should read the books of those great enlightened people who have realized the final truth and reality of their life. You can read Vivekananda, you can read Shankaracharya, you can read Patanjali, you can read Ramcharitmanas. There are so many people. You can read Radhakrishnan, you can read APJ Kalam. These are the illuminaries, they are the legends. They can provide you a lot of material to shape your life in proper manner. So if you adopt all these things, all these techniques and ideas which I have given to you, so you will be free from the stress. Stress management means not only stress management. Stress management, you have to manage your life management, mind management, work management, time management, relationship management. If you manage all these things, then your stress will be managed. Time management, because procrastination, postponing the work, this is one of the root causes of stress. If you are in the habit of procrastinating, I will not do this work today, I will postpone it for tomorrow. When tomorrow comes, then for the next day. When next day comes, then for another next day. So if you are in the habit of this procrastination, this will load you with stress. So procrastination should not be there. And you should not be victim to urgency syndrome. You should not be victim to urgency syndrome means when anything becomes quite urgent, you cannot dispense with it. Only then you try to do it. So avoid this urgency syndrome. Avoid procrastination. Give up it totally. And the last moment rush should not be there. Some students, they are in such haste that when they go to examination hall, they forget their admit card. They do not bring their admit card there. They forget pen and pencil. So you should not be in haste in your hurry. Your life should be cool, calm, patient, peaceful, blissful, happy, stable. If you are adopting patient, if you are adopting these qualities in your life, you will be free from all these things. So these are the techniques. So the first thing which I narrated in the very beginning, inner strength is the main thing. Inner strength include your intellectual strength, your spiritual strength, your mental strength, all these things, three taken together. If you have developed them properly, so you will be able to counter any situation in your life. And one more indication I want to give you. Negative emotions are there. Anger, jealousy, revenge, greed, all these things. This is emotional problem connected with your emotional faculty. So negative emotions plus defensive attitude is equal to wrong value system. Note this equation. Your emotions are negative, but you are justifying them. You are telling that yes, it was very necessary and very urgent to show anger there. That is why I became angry on that man, over that man. So don't justify your negative emotions. If you have negative emotions plus defensive system, defensive attitude, your justifying attitude of those negative emotions, so that will create wrong value system. And wrong value system combined with conflicting ideas, that will create complexes in the subconscious mind. So negative emotions plus defensive attitude is equal to wrong value system. Wrong value system plus conflicting ideas is equal to complexes in the subconscious mind. And if there are complexes in the subconscious mind, so these complexes in the subconscious mind will give rise to stress and strain in your body and mind. So you have to be free from all these things. Always remain in positive company. And the source of absolute positiveness is your awareness, is your Atman, is your spiritual entity, is God, I can say, objectively. So you remain in the company of God, you remain in the company of your awareness, you remain in the company of godly people, holy people, those who are trying to treat this spiritual path. Such people will give you immense benefit. They will guide you properly. They will enlighten your life, and you will lead a very good and satisfying life. I think this is enough on this particular topic. Now I come to close my lecture, and if you have any questions, any doubts, so you can put, you can ask.
Padmaja?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us with a wide spectrum of examples to control a person's level of stress, usually for the purpose of and for the motive of improving the everyday functioning of the daily lives. Thank you for motivating us, sir. Thank you very much. Now the session is open for discussion. The participants are requested to kindly ask their queries. Yes, Samarth, you may ask your question.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good
Sir,
afternoon.
that was a very enlightening session. It is stress management is very important part of our life. So I would like to ask that if there is a sudden panic attack or an anxiety attack, then what should we do?
I have answered to these questions already. Whatever I have told you, you have to follow and adopt it in your life.
Sir, but you are
One
talking
thing,
about the managing it. But if there is a sudden attack right now, then what one should do?
you should always keep this thing in mind. One statement you should try to remember, this will also pass away. When any negative situation comes into life, nothing is permanent in this world. As the water of the river is continuously flowing below the bridge, similarly this current of time is continuously flowing. And all the incidents which are taking place in our life, they are taking place in time and space. So since time is continuously flowing, so that particular situation or circumstance will flow. So always remember that whatever negative has come into our life, that will not remain permanently. It will also pass away. And second, you should, if you have no solution, you have no strength, and if you are a theist, you believe in God, so try to pray before God. You will find the solution.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Dr. Jasprit, sir.
So this was nice session on stress management. Actually, I want to know during this pandemic times, how work and personal life balance can be maintained while managing the stress itself.
What I could not understand, what are you asking? During pandemic time.
During these pandemic times, when there's a work from culture, work from home culture is going on. So during these times, how this stress, social, personal and work life can be managing while including the stress factors and all those things.
Actually, this is a common problem. So here you have to adopt some your own spiritual values. Certain things we have to leave in the hands of God and our destiny. In the very beginning, I have told you that try to change what you can change.
Right.
You must have courage to change what you can change. But if anything is not within your capacity, to accept it patiently. So certain things we have to leave in the hands of God. Okay,
Right.
when the things are beyond your control, when you are unable to do anything in the situation, so now the situation should be handed over to God, and it should be handed over to our destiny, because the factor of destiny is also working with us. This factor is also working with us. There are so many people who were in the grip of corona, but they are surviving, and many people, young people, they have died. Even the 85 years, 90 years old people who were in the grip
Right.
of corona, they have survived. So this is the destiny. In their destiny, survival was there, but those who are dead today, their destiny was there, they have not to survive. So certain things we have to leave in the hands of God and in the hands of destiny, and whatever we can change, so we should try our best to change as far as our capacity permits.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Ved Prakash, you want to ask
Uh,
something?
yes, yes. Thank you, sir. First of all, your this session will certainly help in current context, especially where we all are going through different stress levels. Sir, what I could understand from your lecture was one approach to reduce this stress level is the approach towards facing the problem and the perception. Apart from this, what should I follow to reduce my stress level, considering this ongoing pandemic situation? With context to this, I am asking, sir.
I have already answered
Yes,
this
yes.
one. There are so many techniques which I have been enumerated in the whole lecture.
Yes, sir.
To adopt them. And one thing I would suggest, try to acquire more and more skills in
Okay,
life.
sir.
Today the
Yes, sir.
situation is like this, that I am telling you that from my personal experience, I
Yes, sir.
have practiced in Allahabad High Court for the last many years. But since I was interested in academic life, so I taught in different coaching institutes. I taught philosophy to the students of IES. I taught English language to many students preparing for competitive examinations. I delivered more than 600 motivational lectures in more than 200 institutions of this country, topmost institutions.
Yes,
But
sir.
now the coaching centers are not in proper position. They have been closed because of this
Right.
coronavirus.
Yes, sir.
So we have to learn many skills, so that if one skill is not there to provide survival to us, so we should try to use another skill.
Okay, sir.
So we must try to find out alternative ways. If
Right,
you
sir.
have so many alternatives and options before you, so you will not be threatened, you will not be worried. But if you are having only one option, one alternative to combat your situation, and that alternative is lost, so you will collapse.
Right,
So
sir.
today we require so many alternatives, to try to acquire as many skills as possible, and try to acquire those skills in which you are having your interest and in which your intelligence works.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Avinash, you have yes, please go ahead. Dr. Avinash.
Yeah, hello, yeah. Good afternoon, sir. And this is very informative session. Actually, sir, I am doing a job, approx 9 hour job, and I have no any time to extra study. And how to manage your time, sir? This is my question.
You want to do some extra study,
Yeah, sir.
and you are already in job, so you do not find time. So your question is that how to find time, right?
Yeah.
So there is a famous dictum, that is, where there is a will, there is a way. If you have a strong passion, so you will manage. You reduce some hours in your sleep. Suppose you sleep 8 hours, so reduce it to 6 hours. 6 hours sleep will do. And you find out where your time is being utilized not so meaningfully. So cut out those particular moments reduce your sleeping time and save your time if it is going somewhere else which is not so productive and so meaningful. So you can manage it.
Okay, but sir, in the timing in sleeping is less, then lot of stress are there, sir.
Yes, that is also cause of stress. So you have to do something because your situation you know better. Say, so far as if I take my example, so I have learned so many things in my life. I have done my BSc and LLB and English literature में MA I have done, and then I studied philosophy, some books of psychology, Vivekananda literature, yogic literature, literature of Shankaracharya, English language, Hindi language, and so many things I have done. And still I am continuously learning so many things by curtailing my time from all the possible engagements. I only give my time to the indispensable and compulsory engagements only. Otherwise, I always remain absorbed in my knowledge, in my learning. Right? So, like this, if you have got a very strong and burning desire, so you will manage.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir.
Otherwise, people are not able to conduct even one job. If somebody is doing one particular work or profession, so he is totally absorbed in his own profession, he is not finding time. But if I am having a burning desire, so I can manage. You find out the way where your time can be saved.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I find out, sir.
So that's all as far as the discussion part was concerned. I did not I'm not finding any hands now. Any further questions? No. So that's all. So at the outset, I would like to thank Shri Raviraj for accepting our invitation and gracing this faculty development program. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to highlight that till now, we had 8 different lectures in this FDP, and all the lectures focused on stress, but it was all about abiotic and biotic stress on plants. So, in somehow, in the present times, due to various reasons, including COVID and other different reasons, all of us had to face a different types of stress. So, in this slide, and on behalf of all our participants, I would like to thank you, Raviraj, for an excellent lecture highlighting various aspects of this very important part of our life and giving us some very important formulas as well as different examples to tackle it. On my personal note, I would always remember stress is equal to pressure upon inner strength, and the most important, that is reactions with respect to situations and relationship with various stresses. That's very important, and this for me is the take home message of your lecture. So I thank you, sir, and thank you for gracing the occasion, most importantly, and energizing all of us, all the participants and all other members who are with us today with our spirits and making everyone feel great. I would also like to thank Dr. Ramesh Pandey, my colleague at MNNIT Allahabad, to help us organize this particular session. Thank you very much, Ramesh sir.